Hello, viewers, and welcome back to episode 4 of our Beyond Reality with Gregtech Let's Play. Um, so, since last episode, I've just built a kind of elevator platform because I'm wanting to build a separate level for thaumcraft. I've let this process. I've been kind of just removing the steel from it, and it might get the chest. So now we probably have enough to build the battery or canning machine. And making the floor, I kind of wanted for the thaumcraft level. The ceiling for this, I kind of want to make with laboratory blocks, and I also need that needs nether quartz. And I also want to go to the nether for some other materials that I can find in the overworld. It's just not easy to. Because I actually have gotten nether quartz from, I think it's this stuff. I don't know what this will substitute in for, nether quartz in the laboratory block recipe, so I think if I that's there's just a ton of recipes that I can't substitute in for, I guess. So yeah, we'll have to go to nether. So I got the flint and steel, and I got the obsidian. So I'm gonna build a portal over here so I don't hear all this noise. Although I could use a muffler block. And I'll just build it over here because I prefer not to have it in my house anyway. Did I build the portal? Oh, never mind. That's weird. Okay. It's really loud. Waypoint. Okay. Let's see. Copper. A lot of the ores that spawn in the overworld also spawn in the nether, so. But minus few of that on camera. Come back after this. There's also more sparge veins. Let's just go walking around a bit. Because since the nether is so open, it might be easier to find some veins I haven't found yet in here. Multiple boards for one. But yeah, I also needed to find larger igneous nodes. Okay. I don't want to keep using that wand. Hmm. I think what actually happens with the spawning of ores is some of the more interesting ones I'd want to find probably end up being under lava. Yeah, nothing real interesting in this nether, is there? So, yeah, I'm just gonna cut here and continue to mine nether quartz so I can actually build that fort. Okay, so I have returned, and I have actually built the floor. So, yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of semi-automated it with this production table, and yeah. Then what I've built on it so far is the automated alchemical construct. Let's see, put iron in here, and it gets crafted into nuggets. They get transmuted, and then these are hyper rationing, so it should only store like a nugget or something like that. I forget if it's a nugget or if it's a single nugget or a stack, and it doesn't say it in NEI like most other extra utility things. Then this serves to recraft it back into ingots. And I'm using these to get order because these I can just spam with bone meal or fertilizer, and it will give me one order each. I can just void the excess messes and order. So yeah, that's what I've done. I've also gotten the recipe together for that canning machine that I never actually crafted. But let's just put that right here. So if I get a can or a battery hole, I'll take one tin cable. So yeah, I have an extra one. We're gonna need to make some battery alloy, which I have not actually done before. So, 4 lead and 1 let's see, will work. And I'm gonna need to put fuel in this system. Okay. Because I have no excess charge. Well then, no you. Let's get through the sound muffler over here. I was wondering why it was so quiet. There's some coal so I can power up the system. These to I want these to coal. So this has to heat up. And how much power does this take? Quite a bit. And I think that was this running on Steam. And let's see. Let's just take this out. I need to disable some of these so the system can build up steam. Okay, let's see. I want to mace rate this because that lithium ore isn't exactly the most common thing. This stuff is utterly useless, that redstone alloy. Like, we can press it into blocks, and the blocks can only be smelted into ingots. So, they've just left it as Dunson ore, and I've never done anything to, never did anything to remove it. One iron ingot. I need to re-enable this. And don't think I have any, like, coal laying around. Fuel. So, wanting to make a tree farm. And I think probably one of the better ways in this pack is with Galmancy. To harvest them, because that doesn't require fuel. So, I'm wanting to build the large steam turbine, which we can repurpose this for. This bronze plated bricks for. But it takes about 1 circle per second, or something around that. I don't know why I took that out. But, that's a ton of fuel needed. And charcoal. I'm wanting an automated system in order to produce. So, charcoal, you can get from brittle charcoal. But this is an in-world crafting, so it's not really a... and you need a special structure around it, like with dirt. And I don't think I could reliably use that for crafting. Now, you can use redwood bark or root, but that's, like, extremely unreliable. That meat nuggets is... What can you make this out of? I mean, we could make an animal farm and turn meat into nuggets, I guess, but that would take power in the form of a mace raider and then a compressor, so it's not really useful to me. Let's see. Pyroghost oven, that's not in our tier level. And coke ovens is probably one I'm going to have to go with. Now, they're not expensive, but this takes about 90 seconds for 1 piece of charcoal. So, the charcoal will burn for approximately 1 second in that blast furnace, but I'm not sure if that's actually the correct timing. So, yeah, so we're gonna have to make a few of them, and I think you can fuel crystal oil into the blast furnace, so that might be doable. I don't know what this fire aspect is in exactly. Bricks we would need to be constantly smelting, and there's only one. Lava I would probably just use directly for, I could probably use that directly in some way, but, so yeah, there's not much that gives charcoal. Sugar charcoal could be a way, but I think it takes quite a while to grow. So I'm not sure completely what would be an exactly reliable way of fuel before we get automated mining. Unless the coal coke ovens are fast enough, coke ovens, to keep up with a bronze blast furnace, or bronze steam boiler. So if so, that's what we'll go with. So, let's see. Is one of these freed up now? Let's re-enable it. So I don't know if there's a way we can automate the breaking of it. Robots are quite a bit in the future, so they're not really I think there's what is it? There's probably a breaker one. Miner. Yeah, there's a miner robot, but integration table. Coding thing. What's robot? Robots. Yeah, assembly table. So, I don't know what the assembly table recipe is in this pack. Oh, it takes diamond gears. That would be a bit off in the future, so this, yeah, so let's see. I would want to find a way to automate it without needing a robot. But I think coke ovens are the only way to do that where you can pipe things. So go with a coke oven. Which will probably require me to mine out the oceans of all of our clay. If I'm not simply gonna make one, I'm probably gonna make like 4 or 6 or some larger amount. And if I stagger them right, then the blast furnace will always be able to be provided with fuel. Now I think that the see, I've been watching someone do this in Gregtech, so that's kind of why I'm not completely certain. But I'm wondering if the arc furnace would be able to create charcoal in it. Because I saw them do that, but that would require me constantly producing oxygen. But that would probably be possible. So I'll just do testing off camera and see what I can make. And we have our first small lithium battery. And I'm just going to charge it up. Oh. It's hard to charge this up if you have no, yeah, I removed that small solar boiler because I blocked it with the roof, so this will start filling once these buffers are full. Probably. These probably have to not be on, no. Let's see if the dedicated one works. So, I'm gonna make this iron so I can actually sew the, should have one around here. Just want to sew this going through the, system upstairs. Now it's working, so I have to enable that. Let's see. There we go. Now we're getting power stored. And candlelight is in there. This goes in here. Let's turn it to nuggets. Then they go in here. And they sit. Yep, there it goes. Yeah, they get pulled out. Yep. I had to put a filter in here because for some reason it recognizes this as an input and an output slot. If there's a transfer node there. You can probably fix it if you put a chest in front of it and then the transfer node, but yeah, I just put a filter. I should probably get some torches in this area. Yeah, I don't have enough coal to really do much. You have to process it all. Which you can get 2 pieces, but the system isn't that fast at processing it, so it's really annoying to deal with. Let's see, I wonder if I can make a railcraft steam tank with yeah, you can use Gregtech steel plates to make one. Why? Make sure you use the one that uses a wrench and a hammer, not the one that uses this one. Because this gives you 8, and this gives you 1. So, yeah. Then, yeah, I could probably make this eventually. I'd want to use that if I'm using the large boiler, and use some redstone type stuff to control it. Because this does not hold much. And a large one will fill many of these, probably instantly. But it will also be able to power probably very many basic turbines up until, like, probably the high voltage age. So, as long as we get a steady fuel source for it, then we'll be fine. But I think it would work pretty long on a backlog. Because I'm gonna go find the numbers, and then I will be right back so that I can just read. So, a large, the boiler we're going for, the large bronze boiler, will consume about 32 charcoal while it's heating up. Which, if you have a buffer going, that isn't that much. But it will also produce 250,000 steam during heating. Which, if we're going for an automated set-off with detect when the tank is full, shut the boiler off. Detect when the tank is empty, turn the boiler on. It could probably fill the tank without using much charcoal. Cause I think with what I've seen, for it's 2 stacks of charcoal is enough to half fill a maximum size railcraft tank, which that will produce power for a long time if you're using steam turbines, and will give your coke ovens enough time to catch up if you have a few of them. If you have batteries, then you'll also fill up your battery buffer while the boiler is running. So you'd probably be able to keep things going for a decent amount of time before needing to before your boiler stops running from fuel. But the fuel isn't really the main issue with the boiler. It's more the keeping it stocked with water. Because you don't want to feed water into an empty large boiler that has no water but is hot, because it will explode. If you don't feed it fuel, then it will just start cooling down, which can be an issue for the rest of your base, especially if you have large multi-block machines, because I think in this version multi-block machines will destroy material if they don't have enough power, which that would be annoying. But so yeah, so 32 charcoal, and then it takes 1 per second, so take about 32 seconds to heat up if that's correct. And then it would produce its maximum amount, which is 16,000 steam per charcoal, which free charcoal would fill 2 of these basic steam turbines with steam. So yeah, it produces quite a large amount of steam and would power us for a while. But yeah, I'm just gonna go in. So this is the automatable way in Gregtech that produces fuel. But I think the boiler can also use creosote oil for power, so I'm gonna feed the excess of that in. But yeah, so Pyrogloss oven, yeah, it takes medium voltage CO2, and then it takes all of that stuff in there. Which, yeah, it's expensive. Everything else. I think it's interesting. It adds its own stuff like this. But so yeah, this is where we've gotten so far, and we have a canning machine now, so we can make more batteries. And I should have made the 4 battery one, but that would require me to make 2 4 times insulated wire on our future stuff. That wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, so this is still filling. It's about to be full. There we go. So now I'm just gonna deny this steam. Still full. Then I'm gonna deactivate all these so they don't whine at me. So yeah, we're gonna need to make a ton of stuff to get a tree farm up, and figure out where we want to put it, and pipe all the stuff in. And yeah, farm. Probably gonna be living off of fruit salad now instead of stock. I never scanned cactus. I don't think it has. Yeah, it doesn't have much useful stuff. Whatever mushrooms do. So. Oh yeah. So I play on another server, but that is a different pack than this, and it's been around for quite a few months of its current pack, and I've gotten pretty far in its progression tree to where I have a good base built up, and I think I'm gonna do a tour of that base and just show like a bit of playing around on that server if anyone else decides to get on. So yeah, there'll probably be a video that comes out either before or after this one, probably after. But yeah, I just need to figure out when I want to do that. Yeah, the cactus fruit. And yeah, just get all my materials via plants. Sadly, you can't dive them like seeps, so you can't just directly hit them. I keep on seeing this ore node down here. I haven't actually checked that one out. But I should put walls on this thing. I should go and finish that, but I don't have the iron currently. Mostly because I haven't been mining in a while. But yeah, I don't know how long I've actually been recording so far, but yeah. So I think this is where I'm gonna end the episode because I don't know where. Probably do this research off camera. Probably a bit more. Let's see. This is slowly unlocking a ton of stuff in this book from me scanning stuff. Like transmutative staff core and this Minecraft. No. Okay. So there's a different recipe for transmutating aluminum, which takes feathers. That might end up being more but this is showing me that's I don't know if there's another way to get that besides from platinum itself, so this might not be too useful, this specific one, because it's showing me a ton of metallurgy stuff that we don't have in this pack. But yeah, so what was that specific one? That weird aluminum transfer in the first one. I don't like you could turn feathers and iron into more aluminum. So I'm wondering if this one actually works, but I can't test it until I have a blast furnace on. Here are walls, I unlocked that, and I could make hidden rooms with it. Sadly, apparently it doesn't support connecting textures, so. Woo, now we have a wand focus. I just kind of go for Windows when I feel bored. I kind of unlocked that, and every wand. So to unlock that probably will unlock stuff in this book off camera. I think the next thing to work towards is making a making an infusion altar, so that we can actually make a tree farm and building all of our coke ovens. probably end up stacking them and stockpiling creosote oil. Let's see. I think drums have a pretty easy recipe, actually. That's 8, 10, 16 iron. I'm wondering if it might be more. No, it would probably be better to store the steam in a railcraft tank, but this is probably where I'll store creosote oil in. So, I wonder what the recipe of this is. Meteoric. Interesting. I'm surprised this recipe is still in. So, could make bedrockium stuff. But it's having no tools based around it. Probably purposeful. But I need to figure out what's the best way to light this stuff up with. That would blend in better with torches. But yeah. So we have filled a battery. And we have some machines. But they're not hooked up to that battery, so I'm gonna rewire this off camera. And this is where the episode will end today. So, goodbye everyone, and thank you for watching.